Hello and welcome. My name is Taylor Magnus from Socket Consulting. Um, Today, we really just wanted to get out a quick video surrounding the latest R2 updates and some of those enhancements that we thought our clients would most benefit from. As far as what we'll dig into today, we're going to do some quick, just general usability updates, and then of course we're going to be jumping into our construction specific enhancements. But let's jump in. Now, coming into the system, as always, we can access our release notes straight from the homepage, and then we can explore all of the current release updates as well as any changes from previous releases down here below. The first area I'll highlight is really, again, more about general system usability and efficiency improvements, so not specific to construction. Now, the first one we'll talk over is about the enhancements to our advanced lists. And so if I come into this section here, we can see some of the notes surrounding these. This really started pretty small with only a couple of list views, but within the last few quarters, they've been expanding this into more and more areas. And so we can see that complete list here. Now, if we come into one of our supported lists, we'll come into our vendors. All I have to do to activate this feature is click here. And once it loads, so with these enhancements, we really have a much more dynamic list view where we can quickly and easily start to reorder our column sequence, as well as dynamically set our column widths for some of those items or areas we've historically been unable to see at times. But we can also have the ability to use advanced filters and sorts. As we can see here, we still have the ability to save these custom views for reuse to make managing our transactions and data much easier. And then I can just come up here and turn this off if I want to. Now, the next enhancement we'll touch on is the ability to access our payment files straight from accounts payable. So historically, anytime we wanted to access payment files or ACH and bank file payments, we would need to navigate to our cash management application. And so Sage has made this available within AP so that our entire payment workflow can essentially live within accounts payable versus having to work and kind of bounce between the two applications. Another usability update is the ability to now draft payments in AR that we're not quite ready to post. So with this, we can now draft any of our payments prior to actually posting so that we can return to the payments and confirm or make changes prior to actually posting that transaction. And this will be particularly useful for when payments are imported and we want to review those transactions before actually posting. And so if I come into my receive payments area, I can see that we already have one drafted here, and I can come in and edit that, make any revisions necessary before actually posting. Now, should we decide we no longer need a draft, we can easily just come in here and delete it from our list. Now, the next area I'll touch on is the new bank transactions assistant. So if I come back into my notes, we can talk over this section here. This feature was actually rolled out in the last quarter, but would need to be enabled within our cash management configuration. But with this latest release, it's now available by default and has also been enhanced with the ability and addition of this bank transaction assistant file import. And so we have some additional file types that we can now use as part of that import process. But with this workflow for the transaction assistant, we can now assign customers to bank transactions brought in via our bank feeds or transactions brought in through that import process, as well as receive multiple payments for multiple customers, all from the bank transactions page. As I come down, we can see here in the release notes the general flow provided by this new feature. And with this, we can assign our customers to transactions, either by creating assignment rules to make that happen automatically for us or manually. And then from there, we can start to receive those payments or creating advances in those instances that we don't have an invoice to receive against. Now to jump to our construction specific enhancements. So the first enhancement we'll go over is AR retainage release invoices now include the project's contracts billing information similar to our project contract billings. And so to see this, we'll come into a retainage release invoice I already created. And we can see that we now have a new tab here for our project contract billing details. And so this will only be available on project contract related Retainage releases here. So we're not having to worry about, any additional clutter on our non-project contract related invoices within AR. This just provides for that ease of visibility into some of those project contract related details and history. Now, as in previous releases, Sage has continued to bring in more enhancements to our vendor compliance process. Now, with the ability to create lien waivers related to our commitments, and that was pushed out in a previous release. With this release, these records now include the project and also have an available notes field on the compliance record. And so with this, we can now include these items on printed document templates as standard fields. And so to see that, I'll come into one of our lien waivers here. And we can see where our project is pulled through from the related commitment invoice. We can also see the notes field is now available as well. In addition to that, we can edit the project on here if for whatever reason we need to make that revision. Now for our last enhancement, this is related to reporting. We now have the ability when scheduling reports to filter our reports by both project as well as project group. And so if we filter by a project group, we can select individual report to divide the report into separate sections for each project within the group. And so we can see this if we come into the financial report writer and into our filter section. We now have this new run as individual reports option for our projects or project group here as well. And then I can run this to show what that could potentially look like should we want to break out those reports separately for whatever reason. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions over anything we just went over or really anything having to do with Sage Intacct, don't hesitate to reach out to the team here at Sakai. Thanks.